Yo, what's up, everybody? Talk to me, guys. Why is everybody so opposed to learning and having an open mind? I used to be like that too, man. Just have my opinions, and for me, that was reality, but that's not reality. You need an open mind. You need to allow new ideas in. You need to question. You need to think. You need to read. You need to study. You need to observe. You just can't keep rolling on with some stupid dogma, some stupid just stating opinion as if it is fact, or listening to opinion and accepting it as fact when the evidence is right out there in front of your eyes, and then you just ignore it or explain it away in some kind of a crazy. I see this thing now going on with the dollar in the Forex market. So everybody's saying, oh, Trump is gonna nominate a new Fed guy. I've been telling you guys that. Trump is gonna nominate a new Fed guy, and the new guy is gonna be a dove. He's gonna want lower interest rates. And so they're selling the dollar, right? But yet the ECB has cut interest rate 10 times and the euro is very strong. Here's the thing, I just think any intelligent, thoughtful person would look at that and say, you got to be consistent. If you got a theory, it's got to be consistent. It can't be applicable a certain way in one scenario, and then in another scenario, it's the exact opposite way. Anybody who's intelligent and who's not prone to just running with, the dogma, the opinion, and some kind of mythology, a person who's intelligent will have to look at that and say there's an inconsistency there. This is the same argument that I've used. Many people always ask me, well, Mike, don't you think all these people who say this stuff about the debt and the deficit and all this stuff, don't you think they really know? But they're saying this because they have some ulterior motive, or because, they're kind of hiding behind in order to affect something personally for themselves. And I say no. And the reason why, the examples I've given in the past, when I used to work at Fox News and I met a lot of these people personally, privately, we'd be scheduled the same day on one of the segments on Fox, and we'd be sitting in the green room talking, and I'd have an opportunity to talk with them, and they would just be constantly contradicting themselves in their arguments. Somebody who has some kind of a ulterior motive, or what can I say, Machiavellian, they're doing this because they're putting out one argument because it helps them in another way. They would have that argument so well crafted that it's not going to be easy for somebody like me. I was asking them casual questions about that, and it's not going to be easy to be tripped up and to display the fact that they were contradicting themselves so readily, and them not even reacting to that. The fact they were all of these people are very highly educated. Okay, they went to the best schools. They came up through the system knowing influential, important people, whatever. They held high positions here or there. It could be policy positions. It could be in academia. It could be in business. They're not they're not stupid, at least in the classical establishment sense. I mean, they're well educated. So they're not going to just contradict themselves blatantly outright like that. If they had a real ulterior motive, and it was, they're gonna craft their theory, their explanations in a way that you're not going to be able to trip them up with simple questions, which I was able to do. I mean, come on. That's just obvious. I don't know what kind of a person you are, but I think most people can read people. Okay? I think most people, they know when somebody's bullshitting them or somebody is just weaving a yarn, weaving a story, telling a story. Now, some people might be more sophisticated at that you're not going to tell. It sounds pretty plausible, but eventually the truth comes out. And so, I mean, I don't know. I get back to this initial point that I made, what's up, man? If you're one of these people who just blindly buy into things that you obviously can see it's wrong, or worse, it's actually the opposite of what you are, adhering to, what you subscribe to, if it's the opposite, but you just want to push that away. I mean, that just boils down to cognitive dissonance. That just boils down to some stress trigger in yourself, in your brain, that you need to push that thing away because for some reason you don't want to know the truth. It's painful to you. Pain is a great motivator, man. Put your hand in a fire, you're going to pull it out. That's what it is. That's basically what it boils down to. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about ideas. We're talking about understanding. We're talking about knowledge. I mean, you should embrace that. That's not sticking your hand in a fire, although I think some of you have kind of built it up to that level where if it goes against what you think, what you believe, that somehow you've made that into the equivalent of sticking your hand in a fire. That is so irrational. That is so crazy. I don't know what you think you accomplished by that. Maybe that gives you a soothing sense, a sense of comfort, but I don't know anyone who gets a sense of comfort by sticking their hand in a fire. That's all I want to say. Anyway, I'm going to go grill my steak. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.